Hey babes, if you are someone who deals with terrible PMS symptoms like bloating, acne, mood swings, or you just feel overall terrible right before your period, this is going to be the video for you. And if you're new around here, I'm Shantae, and I share my journey with fibroids. And if you also have fibroids, you probably are familiar with having PMS, are familiar with having a lot of the PMS symptoms. And so I'm gonna tell you 7 tips that I practice, or 7 things that I practice that are gonna help you beat PMS, feel better, and just have a better luteal phase experience. Luteal phase is that time after you ovulate but before your period. And for most women on an average cycle, it's about 14 to 18 days, just kind of depending on your cycle length. So during that time, a lot of women tend to feel their worst. Some women are fine for probably that week after they ovulate. It's usually the week before your period is about to start, about those 7 days before your period is about to start, where you might find yourself feeling more irritable, more bloated, retaining water, more puffy. Acne, you might start to see pimples pop up or have congested skin. So I'm gonna share how I combat all of these things. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you like this video. And if you like to learn more about how to have better periods, subscribe, because we talk a lot about menstrual cycles and periods on this channel. Now, some of these tips you are probably going to be surprised by. You probably have never even heard before. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. My first tip for having a better luteal phase or having less PMS is to be mindful about your digestion. And what I mean by this is, I don't know about you, but I know with me, maybe like the week before my period, during the end of luteal phase, I feel like I gain like 5 to 10 pounds, like seriously. I feel like I look a lot bigger during that time. Some things that I have been doing to combat that I find work pretty well is just being more mindful about my digestion. So that includes having warming foods. I try really hard not to drink cold foods or have like cold smoothies or anything like that the week before my period. I also try not to eat any raw vegetables. Like, I keep my vegetables cooked that week before, because that's just gonna be easy on your digestive system. Even eating more soups or stews, that's going to be really helpful for you. One of my favorite soups, and I will link the recipe below, but one of my favorite soups is this lentil chickpea soup. I think it's the perfect recipe for PMS and also even for when you start your period, because it's full of fiber. It's also warming because I use a lot of different warming spices in it. I use a few different root vegetables in it. So it's really helps with that digestion and consuming something that's still nutrient dense, but not too hard on your digestive system. And speaking of diet, this next tip I actually learned from a coach who specializes in teaching you how to work out for your cycle. Her name is Omega, and I will tag her and I'll link her YouTube channel in the comments. So if you're someone who wants to learn how to exercise for your cycle, she is a great resource. But one of the things that she suggests is to up your fat and or protein during luteal phase. I found this to be super helpful because I don't know if you guys know this, but during your luteal phase or before your period, your resting metabolic rate tends to be a little bit higher, and you actually burn more calories that time. I think the number is about anywhere from 100 to 300 calories. So during that time, you actually do need more calories. And I think that's why we crave carbs during that time. But instead of reaching for those carbs, reach for a protein-rich snack or a snack with healthy fats. I personally shoot for about 20 grams more of protein because that just works better for how I'm training and for my fitness and wellness goals right now. So you might want to play around with that number, or maybe you just eat the same snack every time to kind of experiment and see. But I have noticed that by doing this, I have more energy, and I'm assuming it's because I'm getting the more calories that my body needs, but also I don't have those carb cravings. I crave way less carbs whenever I'm getting enough protein and fat. And of course, you're gonna feel full longer. The next tip I have is one that is a little bit more common, but it is to hydrate. Some ways that you can do this are, of course, you can drink water or drink more water, but really, in order for you to really get more hydrated, you want to consume foods that are going to have a higher water content, or that are even going to have some minerals and electrolytes that are really going to hydrate you on a cellular level. One way that you can do this, aside from, drinking water and eating those types of foods, is to use a hydration powder or an electrolyte powder. Personally, I like Element, and I've also started using Perfect Aminos. I've just recently started using that one. I like the Element taste better, but the Perfect Aminos I like a little bit better because it's also supposed to help with workout recovery. So that's why I prefer that one right now, but the Element one also tastes really great. Another thing you can use is they make mineral drops that you can use and put in your water. And if you are going to be drinking bottled water, you can go for spring water, and that's going to help you get some more of those minerals that you need, and sometimes electrolytes too. The next thing I do to help me have more energy during this time is I have more recovery days planned into my luteal phase. So if you are someone who is working out, or maybe you have fitness goals and maybe you're lifting right now or doing some more strenuous exercise right now, you need to reconsider how many recovery days that you have during luteal phase. Now, this is going to be a little bit different for everyone, but personally, I actually only go to the gym like every other day, or lift weights every other day, or do strength training every other day, instead of, doing 2 days in a row and then having a rest day. And I found that this keeps me from being so exhausted, and I feel like I actually have better results after I leave the gym when I have those recovery days. Now, my next tip might kind of surprise you. Right before my period, the week before, and even going into my period, I will actually plan my self-maintenance. I don't want you to confuse self-maintenance with self-care. The two kind of can meet or commingle, but really, I'm referring to self-maintenance right now. And the reason that I do this is because sometimes right before your period, or even like during your period, you might be feeling blah, or sometimes you just don't feel like you look as good. And one way that I avoid that is by scheduling my self-maintenance, or I do a lot of DIY stuff at home, but doing that during that week. So that way I kind of avoid that feeling like I don't look good, or even when I have that feeling, it's not as bad because I feel like I'm still kind of put together. And I know you're probably thinking like this doesn't feel like a wellness tip, but it really is, because I do feel like how you look on the outside can be helpful for how you feel on the inside. And speaking of self-maintenance, one thing that I specifically like to do during this time is a clay mask. I wanted this to be a whole separate tip just because a clay mask specifically can help draw out some of the impurities on your skin. Maybe you don't break out. Like, I don't always break out, but I will notice that on my chin and around my nose, right before my period, my skin will get really congested. You know how you have, like, I don't know if it's called sebum, but like you can almost like squeeze your skin and it kind of oozes out. I know that's gross, but doing a clay mask I find really helps to alleviate a lot of that and helps keep me from breaking out like on my chin. I don't usually break out around my nose, but it's just congested. And so doing a clay mask can help with that. You don't have to do a super expensive one. I just recommend getting one with clean ingredients. There's one that's called Aztecan clay. You can buy like a large jar, a pretty nice size jar for like 10 bucks, and you mix it with water or apple cider vinegar, whichever one your skin can take. I feel like it does the trick. I will actually link like some more that I really like. But a clay mask specifically, I find is really helpful. It's really helpful for your skin right before your period. Now, the next thing I do is more so for my social and emotional health. During luteal phase or that week before my period, honestly, I don't go out a lot and I try not to schedule too many social things during that week. But if I am going to have any social interactions, I stick with my safe people. Now, your safe people are those people who just come to your house and you don't have to be doing anything. You don't have to be out. You can talk about anything. You don't have to constantly entertain them. You guys just enjoy each other's presence. Like, you don't even have to talk. So if you don't have safe people, get you some safe people. But I love my safe people. Even one of my friends, like sometimes we are just on the phone. You know that person you're on the phone with and you aren't even talking to them. You're just there and listening to them do all the things in the background, and they're listening to you do all the things in the background. But usually during that week, I pretty much only interact with my safe people. It's just a way for me to have that social interaction and have that social engagement. There are exceptions whenever I have to go to events or something like that. But for the most part, I try to leave my schedule, or I try not to put much social stuff on my schedule and just kind of leave it clear so that I can rest. So let me know in the comments which of these surprised you the most, if any of them surprised you at all. And be sure to like this video so that it can reach other women who need this information. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.